Howdy folks, how's everyone doing? We're going to wait just a few minutes so that we can see how many people jump in on the live stream here. And it's good to see everybody in here. And Jim, that must be the new name of your actual YouTube channel, Humble One Travel. That's pretty good. I like that. All right, guys, we're going to jump right into this. I don't plan on being a part of this live stream for hours and hours on end, and I know that some of you guys have prior commitments to videos of your own, such as Kyle over there at Rust Belt Mechanic. Thanks for jumping in here. 4 AM Caper, Sam's Garage, Humble One Travels, Eford's Garage is in here. And let's see who else is in the chat that I may have missed. I think I've got everybody so far. So a few days ago, guys, I posted on my Instagram that I was going to be doing a Q&A. And once in a while, I like to do a Q&A so that once we get some new followers as part of the Old Car Auto Guy family, that I give you guys an opportunity to ask questions to me, and I'll pick a bunch of them. We might not get to all of them today because there was quite a few. We'll actually go through some of the questions on here. So once we get through some of the questions that I've got from Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that, then we'll go right into the chat, and maybe if we have some time to answer some from you guys. So this live feed is also going to be a contest announcement. So stick around till the end, and I've got a little bit of a contest that we're going to announce as part of my 1,000 subscriber giveaway, as well as Tuesday's video. So my next one after this one is going to be my 200th episode, believe it or not. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a giveaway, and the 200th episode has something to do with that. So we're going to jump right into some questions here, and I want to thank you guys for jumping in. We got 9 people watching. If you haven't hit that thumbs up yet, guys, I'd really appreciate it if you would do that. And who else we got jumping in there? We got Nacho's Dad. We've got Snydertron 3000. Thanks, Josh, for jumping in here. And so we're going to jump into some of these questions on Instagram first, and then we're going to come back to the chat. So Josh, save that question for just a few minutes, and we'll get right back at you. So some of my followers that are on Instagram aren't necessarily followers on YouTube. Maybe they are, but I don't recall seeing some of these names that jump in here. So the first question comes from UTVFD Firefighter 341. He says, "What's your favorite diesel truck?" And when I initially got that question about what my favorite diesel truck was, I have a hard time answering it, because I know that with the Duramax, the Power Stroke, and the Cummins, those are the 3 big ones that are out there. And quite honestly, I would have to say the Cummins is probably the only one that I've ever driven, ever. So, the easy answer to that one is probably going to have to be the Cummins. Now, I did have experience with a Power Stroke probably way back years ago when I was about 16. I was visiting my mom out west, and her neighbor had a big Power Stroke Ford, and that thing really, I think, probably is what got me attracted to Fords, because it was loud and obnoxious and it rattled away. And of course, with that with the big diesel in it, or the big turbo in it, sounded pretty mean too. So, but I think to answer that question, I'm going to have to go with the Cummins on that one. Next question comes from Project Late for Bingo. Now, I've been just recently following him and his work that he's doing on his channel, and he asks me a question that I had to follow up with him on. He says, "What is your favorite Canadian market classic that is made by an American manufacturer?" And what he means is cars that basically were only made for the Canadian market. So I want to go back and tell you a little bit of a story. If you followed my YouTube for some time, you'll know that my dad had a 56 Mercury pickup truck, and they classified those as M100s instead of F100s. And M100s were sold at Mercury dealerships across Canada. Why? Because Mercury didn't have a Ford line of pickup trucks, and they wanted to sell trucks. But if you're a Mercury, you couldn't sell Ford. So that was one of the vehicles that kind of in Canada, you could only buy them in Canada, the Mercury pickup truck. So Dad had a 56, which is the classic body style. And of course, he had it all tricked up. And at another time, you go back through some of my other videos and I'll show you some pictures. But it had small block Chev running gear, Mustang 2 front end. And it had a, just trying to think what else it had in it. Oh, your power windows he put in it, and some American racing wheels and custom dual exhaust, stuff like that. So that Mercury pickup truck, 1956, was probably my best story on that one. So thanks, Project Late for Bingo, for asking that question, because I thought that one was pretty cool, and the fact that I actually had a story to relate to it had some validity to it. Next question comes from ICA Jess 20, and I assume that's a female, and she asks, what's your favorite modification to put on a vehicle? And that's an easy one. I don't know about you guys, but anytime I get any sort of a V8, I want to put an exhaust on it. It's very inexpensive. Most of your newer vehicles have catback systems that will pass inspection, and so that's one of the things that I always like to be able to do, is put some form of an exhaust on a vehicle. So if you guys ever have any thing you want to follow up or you want to add to some of these questions, don't hesitate to jump in there and do so. And I see we've got some new people who have joined in as well. Straight Six Fan, hey Grant, thanks for taking your time out of your Sunday, to pop in here. Kip, America to Bumpers here. Cessboy 17, One Man Shop, My Family Garden is in here. I saw the Itchy Guru, thanks for jumping in here. I really appreciate that. Cool name too, by the way. And I don't think I've seen anybody else. We have 13 people watching, so we're going to jump right in here and see what else we got. Do you have the Tim Taylor grunt after putting on loud sauce? Yes, I do. Absolutely. Anytime I do anything that I'm really, really impressed with, I kind of look back and I go, you know, so it's just kind of the same idea with the exhaust. It's just kind of a instant gratification with that one. So yes, thanks for adding that in there. Next question comes from Kip from America Bumper to Bumper. He asked me, how do I like the LED headlights and where did I get them? And I assume that he's referring to the LED headlights on my old Chrysler. So yes, I did buy those on eBay. They were just I want to say they were a cheap set, but I think they ran somewhere around $75 American for all four. And by the time I got them on there and got them wired up, they were kind of a simple wiring, but they do have a provision in there for the daytime running light. And in New Brunswick, daytime running lights are that you need to have those on your car to pass inspection. And so I had to wire those in. And they've also got the high and low beam, of course, the 4 headlight system. So I'm really impressed with them. Even on low beam, it does cast quite a bright light. I don't think I really would want to be that person meeting up with me on the highway at night, especially in high beam. They light up for miles. So I'm really impressed with them. I really do believe that that is the technology that a lot of vehicles are starting to go towards now when it comes to headlight systems. Let's see here. What else is going on in the chat? Will R, thanks, Will, for jumping in here as well. Uh, 4am Keeper says, what is your favorite video that you have done? We're going to get back to some of these questions, guys, once I go through my list here. I don't have very many of them to go over, but we will go back through and answer the couple of questions that have come up here now. We're going to move on to the next one, and we got a question from a young fellow by the name of Ario Handio, and he is from Indonesia. He watches a lot of my channel, a lot of my videos, and he's asking me basically what my favorite movie is. I had a hard time with that because I'm really not much of a movie buff. But I do like some of the classics. So if I have to go back and look at some of those classic style videos, I'm probably going to have to go with the Godfather series. I did take the time out probably a year ago to sit back and watch them all for the very first time, and I kind of fell in love with that series. So I think the Godfather is probably one of my favorite all-time movies. So Josh says Bullet for the win. Yeah. You know what? I might be a little bit ashamed to admit it, but I've never seen the full movie. I've seen lots of the car chase and different scenes in that before, but I've never watched the full movie. Uzolu Garage, thanks for jumping in as well. On to the next question. Comes from a buddy of mine, Steve Ferris, and Steve says, how do I feel about the front-wheel drive models of vehicles that were really designed to be all-wheel drive? So I think what he's basically getting at there is taking something maybe like an SUV and it coming in front-wheel drive model. I guess my thoughts on that is everybody wants an SUV these days. It's one of the biggest sellers in the market. Over probably about half of our inventory at the shop right now is SUVs, and with those, you get all-wheel drive and front-wheel drive. So a cost comparison, you can buy a front-wheel drive a lot cheaper than you can buy the all-wheel drive. But in the front-wheel drive model, everyone was driving front-wheel drive cars for years and never had any problems with them. In the wintertime, throw 4 snow tires on, and you can go pretty well anywhere you want to. If the roads are that bad, you don't go anywhere. But the utility side of these small crossovers and SUVs is gaining such headway with things like storage behind the back seat, multiple passengers, and 4-cylinder operation. So you're still getting really good fuel mileage out of these things, and it just seems to be taking the market by storm. So that's my favorite part about the SUV market, is that you can almost appeal to everybody who's looking to have some form or another of a sport utility. So whether it be 5-passenger 7, front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, 4-cylinder V6. So yeah, seems to be an awful lot out there of different configurations to go with. So one question that wasn't on my Instagram that Kyle from Rust Belt Mechanic actually popped into our live stream last Thursday was to do with safety inspections, and do we have them in New Brunswick, and what do they entail? So I wanted to touch base on that. 410 Auto Tech, hey, thanks for jumping in here. So inspections in New Brunswick, they do look at some of the obvious things. So basically headlights, turn signals, brake lights, horn, wipers. And as far as rust goes, they don't want any rust through any of the rocker panels in areas that will get into the cabin of the vehicle. Those are some of the common things. They also will check brakes. So your brake pads have to be within 3/30 seconds or greater. Your rotors are questionable by times because sometimes you can fail them for excessive rust. Also, suspension parts, so ball joints and tie rod ends, your rack, stuff like that. So in New Brunswick, we don't have emissions testing, but the inspections do have to be done every year. So you buy a sticker. It's only $35 for you to go out and have the inspection done, which is ridiculous because when we bring those vehicles in, we spend about 45 minutes on them. $35 does not cover that because we have to buy the stickers, which is $10 from the province. So for 25 bucks, we've got to check your vehicle over and make sure it passes inspection. So it's kind of a little bit of a rip-off, but you got to be thorough. Emergency brakes have to work. Windows have to be able to go up and down, and all your doors have to be able to open as well. So ABS lights cannot be on. If your ABS warning light is on, it's an automatic failure. Your check engine light can be on. It doesn't matter. And your airbag light, surprisingly, is allowed to be on and still pass inspection. ABS is not, which I find ridiculous because your brakes still work even if your ABS light's on. But anyways, that was one great question that that Kyle had. And if he's got a follow-up about lifted trucks, technically speaking, if they meet all the criteria to the inspection that we're asked to perform, we can refer back to the book. And in most cases, lifted trucks or altered trucks are able to be inspected. There are some cases where if somebody came in and had a lifted truck, but their wheels were stuck out, say, 4 or 6 inches past the fender, I'd probably tell them that we weren't going to do the inspection and to refer them somewhere else because A, we probably wouldn't be able to get it into our hoist, but B, I don't want to be the one having to make a judgment call on something I really don't know. So that's basically the long and the short of the inspection on that. And having said that, I think that kind of wraps up some of the questions that we had from social media as well as that. So we're going to scroll back up here and into the chat, and we'll start opening up the chat for questions. Let's see here. Who asked the first question? Josh did, I guess. He said, what's my favorite Japanese engine? Well, that is actually a pretty good question, because I'm not up on all these, Nissan GTR engines and all that sort of thing. So when it comes to performance engines, I'm really not really keen on them. And if I had to put one out there based on the knowledge and the experience that I had, I would have to say the V6 Toyota engines, the 3300, 3500 series, because in my wife's van that we put almost 400,000 miles on, that thing didn't blow smoke. It hardly burnt any oil between oil changes, and we got that kind of mileage on it. Was it much of a performance engine? I don't know. We kept the timing belt changed and the oil changed on a regular basis, and it lasted us 400,000 miles, which for all you Canadian guys is about 620,000 kilometers. So I don't know how to answer that the way I think you wanted me to answer it, as far as whether it's one of these RB whatever 26 engines or whatever you're thinking. I don't know. I don't know much about the Japanese engines. I just know that the V6 we had in my wife's minivan was pretty darn reliable. So we'll roll back down through some of these questions here from earlier. Do I do the Tim Taylor grunt? Yes, I already answered that one, and yes, I do. What was my favorite video that I've done? If I uploaded this video kind of 2 different times. So one, there was a scene in an early video about how I get my wife's van to last 600,000 kilometers, and that was with a maple syrup oil change. I relaunched that or re-uploaded that not too long ago. So if you go back through my list, it's a video that I did changing the oil in my wife's van using maple syrup. I'm going to leave it at that because I want you to go back and watch it if you haven't seen it. It's a really cool video. My wife and I had a lot of fun making it, and I still go back and I'll watch it myself once in a while, just so that I can entertain myself one more time. So it's a pretty cool. Of course, it's fictitious. We didn't put maple syrup in my wife's van, but it looks like we did. So go back and check that one out. And we're going to scroll back down through here. Let's turn away for driving test for having a light on and the license plate. Yeah. So David Fairweather mentioned in here that he was turned away from a driving test for not having a light on the license plate. So basically, when you go to take your driver's test, your vehicle has to pass inspection. If you're missing a light bulb, or you have a check engine light, or a red warning light on the dash, or your ABS, anything that would fail it for inspection at the time, they will turn you away so that they won't allow you to allow that vehicle on the road. And let's see here. Can we have a full live on car movies? Well, the funny thing about that is I thought that would be a great topic of discussion for a Thursday evening, some night that we're willing to do maybe an extra time on that, because I think we could open that up for discussion and gain a lot of information and have a lot of fun with your favorite movie cars. So Uzo Lou Garage followed up that question with what got me into cars. A couple things. One, my last name is Carr. 2, my dad was a car nut. And 3, my dad was always in business to do with cars. He was a transmission mechanic for over 30 years. So as a kid, I grew up in that transmission shop. As a teenager, I was down there, taking them out of vehicles and putting them back in and getting dirty, and my mom would always get mad at me because I would go down and hang out, and by the time I got home, I was covered in grease. So she was always having to clean my clothes, get the grease out. So my dad really got me into cars. when we first moved to St. Stephen from Fredericton, I was only 8 years old, and Dad had a '62 Chev Impala two-door hardtop, and that was kind of the first real somewhat classic car that I remember my dad having. He had a few before that, but generally I was too young. But that one was one. And in 1989 and 90, he built a 37 Chev sedan street rod. Again, small block Chev, automatic turbo 350, and just Mustang 2 front end. Did all kinds of neat stuff in it, and it would turn on. And so since that car, he's had the 56 Mercury, and now he's got the 36 Dodge, which you guys see on the channel once in a while. Scroll back through here. Have you ever had a video that didn't work out the way you hoped? Snydertron 3000 asked that. Have I ever had a video idea that didn't work out? Yeah, I did. There's a couple of videos that I did that were kind of outside of outside the realm of kind of cars and stuff like that, and I thought that maybe I should try something a little bit different. And people who tune into my channel are looking for the car stuff and not personal necessarily stuff that's not related to the business or to cars and stuff like that. So yeah, I've done a few of those videos, and they've kind of flopped and not gotten very good reviews. And David says, yes, it is syrup season again. Let's see. I might not be able to make Thursday stream. Okay, yeah, no worries. Sam's Garage asked me, do I buy and sell cars or just fix them? So on our lot, it's a used car lot. So we buy them at the auction, or we take trade-ins. We run them through our shop. We do a lot of repairs, and then we do resell them. So a lot of the repairs that we do in the shop are either customer vehicles or they're our own that we're trying to prepare for sale on the lot. Let's see. Burning Rubber Garage. Hey, welcome. Thanks for jumping in here. I really appreciate you guys jumping in. So at this point, we're going to open it up for any questions, any more questions. If you guys got something, throw them at me. We've got a few more minutes before I'm going to go off the air, but we also want to make time for the contest announcement as well. So if you got any other questions, shoot them at me. If you're not subscribed to my channel, I would encourage you right now to hit that subscribe button, which I believe is down here somewhere. And don't forget to hit the bell notification. That way I notify you when I upload new videos. Straight SIXFAN says, would you ever consider 17s, 18s, 19s, 20s on the Cordova? Absolutely. For me, the reason why I stuck with 15s is because of the comfort ride you get out of a bigger sidewall on a tire. I've seen a Cordoba actually at one of the car shows this summer with 18s on it, and I thought it looked really, really good. They were torque thrust style 5-spokes, and I thought it was kind of a classic, like a classic style on those cars. I thought they looked really well. And I've often thought someday that I would upgrade my wheel and tire combination to something with maybe, I don't want to say blacked out, but maybe like a gray insert in the wheel somehow, and go with the bigger size. So yeah, I probably would. I probably would do that. Let's see here. What else is ultimate dream classic car? Ooh. That's a hard one to narrow down. I like so many, and I'm not necessarily stuck on any one brand. If you go way, way back, I probably would have to say, I really am a fan of the big cars like the Duesenbergs and the old, oh crap, what were they? Anyways, the Duesenberg was a big one. Just the great big straight, long hoods on them, and the big wire wheels. I don't know if you can classify that as a classic or not. Let's see here. Let's say I've got a $5,000 budget and you are trying to go fast as you can. What's your build? whatever it is, it's going to be a small block 350 Chev, because you can build those pretty cheap. You can get 400 to 500 horsepower to one of those naturally aspirated almost just by rebuilding it. 410 Autotech says, what's your favorite GM product? Again, if we narrowed it down by decade today, I've never ever in my life been a Corvette fan, but I really am a big fan of the C7 Corvette. Probably one of the most practical Corvettes on the road. We go back to the 60s, the 70, 71 Chevelle is probably my favorite body style car ever. Get into the 80s, I'm into Malibus, Regals, Grand Prix, stuff like that, Monte Carlos, all that same G-body. 50s, again, it's hard to get away from the GM shoebox cars, the Tri-5s, 55, 6 and 7s. But I like the early 40 stuff too. Am I late? JRC 54, you are not late. You made it just in time. We are about ready to make an announcement for a contest. Paul Riccardi says, ever messed with air-cooled engines? No, but if I did, it would definitely be a Volkswagen Beetle, maybe a van. Wheels and tires are expensive. Yes, they are. Gunmetal gray, yeah, something along those lines, because I got the silver and then the gray on the car, so I'd probably go off that darker gray on the top of the car to match up with the wheels. My favorite GM products are the broken ones. Yes, because they're making you so much money. That's the same with anything, though. That G body shuffle. Yep, you're right. Okay, guys, I think what we're going to do is we're getting on to almost a half an hour here, so we're going to call it on the questions, and we're going to jump right into the contest. That's going to be a little bit of twofold. So one is we've got a 1,000 subscriber giveaway that I didn't do yet, and on Tuesday, my Tuesday video is going to be my 200th upload. So as part of that video, and I'm going to post it on social media as well, it's a distance to empty challenge. I know I just did one, but this one is in Bubbles. This is Bubbles' last run, and it is part one of the Demise of Bubbles series. So in that video, I want you guys to comment anything at all. It doesn't have to be about the video. You can go tell me to pound sand. You can tell me what you like about the channel. I don't care. All you got to do is comment on that video, and you'll be entered in to the draw. And I'm going to give away a Old Car Auto Guy t-shirt in the size of your choosing, as well as a sticker. And obviously we'll announce that on a future video. So what's going to happen is I'm going to let that video run from Tuesday, and I'll let it run for probably like a week to get as many commenters on it, and I'll be advertising on future videos. So Thursday and Saturday we will do that, and then we will make sure that on the following Tuesday that video will address the winner of that contest. So guys, if you're not subscribed, please head over to or hit that subscribe button right down here right now. Give this video a like if you haven't done so already. Share it out and make sure that everybody knows, because we are, we're going places. We're moving up, and thanks to shout outs from guys like Josh Snydertron 3000, Rust Belt Mechanic, and the Nick's Garage crew. Those guys helped me get up to the up and over the 1,000 subscriber. Right now, I think we're sitting at 1118 or 1119 on the subscriber count. So and that is still growing. All thanks to you guys. Hey, I see my wife has jumped in there. Hi, honey. Hi. So yeah, and also, if you guys want to pick up your own Old Car Auto Guy t-shirt and or hoodie, I say it in every video anyway, but the link is the first one in the description box. You guys can head over to bonfire.com and pick up an Old Car Auto Guy t-shirt or hoodie in just about any color and size. So guys, thank you so much for tuning into this live stream. I really appreciate it. I think I saw the numbers get up there somewhere in the vicinity of 21 or 22 watching. And I think it's really fun to get up and be able to do these do these live streams once in a while. I don't do enough of them except for our Thursday night with Straight SIXFAN. So guys, also Straight SIXFAN is in the house. If you're not subscribed to him yet, go over to his channel, hit that subscribe button. I think I saw somewhere in the stream tonight he said he was at 975. So he's got 25 more subscribers to go to hit that 1,000, and he will be able to get monetized. So please go over and help him out. Don't forget to join me and a special guest on Thursday night, because Straight SIXFAN again is unavailable. I think he's doing this on purpose. So I'll be looking for a co-host one more time. I'll be reaching out to a couple of guys and seeing if you guys would mind helping me out with the co-hosting. As I end every video, guys, stay focused on the windshield, not the rearview mirror. I love you all. God bless. We'll see you in the next video. And don't forget, Tuesdays, leave a comment. You'll get entered in for a special prize. Thanks, guys. We'll see you again.